project is finally live. Hey, I'm Grigory Khlinok and I just deployed my microblog. So let's wrap up the project. The key change from the last week is that the microblog is finally published. I used the platform called Render to host it. Their free tier allows you to deploy the app just by pointing to a GitHub repository. So the process was smooth and straightforward. The only problem is free tier doesn't include persistent storage. Unfortunately, image uploading doesn't work without this feature. However, the cheapest render subscription solves this problem. The rest of the features works just fine. Users can sign in, log in, comment and like posts. That's it. I expected the deployment process would be much harder, and I even felt a bit silly because of it. I started this project specifically to learn the deployment process, and it took just a morning. Why didn't I just take one of my previous projects? I consult myself with the idea that to learn by building, I need something to build. I know that my voice might not sound excited, but I learned how to build an app from an idea to the deployment, and I understood how to manage backend and frontend simultaneously, so I can build a full web application from scratch now. What upset me is I didn't fit my schedule. I planned to finish this project in a month, but instead I spent 2 on it. In hours, that's about 72 total, and endless side tasks like setting up test and prod environment, Jinx, Docker, DNS, certificates took half of the time. There are a bunch of aspects in full stack app besides the app itself, and switching between tasks of different types is exhausting. So the insight is obvious. To make an app properly, I need a team. And while this idea crossed my mind before, there is a difference in reasoning for personal and team projects. I can just take a step back and ask myself, is self-hosted microblog worth building? Well, to be honest, from a blogger's perspective, definitely no. Bloggers already have their content to worry about, and social media does a great job by managing content distribution, user acquisition, and retention. From a developer's perspective, absolutely no. Microblog has no business usage, so such a project wouldn't add much to a dev's portfolio. From a side hustle perspective, positively no. Social media does microblog's job better with no expenses for hosting and maintenance, so unlikely someone would buy such a product. And from a hobby perspective, certainly no. Microblog is just a CRUD application, not more, not less. And there are so many fields that are much more interesting. Internet of Things, indie games, computer vision, home labbing. So the only point to make such a project is learning, and that's exactly what I did. I congratulate myself on a new chunk of knowledge that I have processed and go further. I need to shift my attention from coding for some time, so I'm going to draw for a week or so. At the same time, I want to keep the weekly sprints ritual, so the next week's demo would be devoted to the art I'm working on. It's quite an inspiring experiment for me to see how product development practices can be applied to artistic projects. We'll see what comes out of it. Let's keep in touch and see you next week.